the blessing of growing older with faith. Before we begin, let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, where did the years go? Maybe your hair has turned gray. Maybe your body isn't as strong as it once was. Maybe life has changed in ways you never expected. And sometimes, if we're honest, growing older can feel difficult. But today, I want to remind you of something powerful. Growing older with faith is not a burden. It is a blessing. In a world that celebrates youth, speed, and appearance, it's easy to feel overlooked. The world may tell you that your best years are behind you, but God says something different. God sees value where the world sees age. God sees wisdom where the world sees wrinkles. God sees purpose where the world sees retirement. You are not forgotten. You are not finished, and your story is not over. Think about the people God used in the Bible. Moses was 80 years old when God called him to lead his people. Abraham and Sarah received God's promise in their old age. Anna served faithfully in the temple for years and witnessed the coming of Jesus. Again and again, God showed that age does not limit his plans. If God still had purpose for them, he still has purpose for you. One of the greatest blessings of growing older is perspective. When you're young, you worry about everything. You worry about the future. You worry about success. You worry about things you cannot control. But as the years pass, something beautiful happens. You begin to realize that God has been faithful all along. You remember the prayers he answered. You remember the doors he opened. You remember the storms he carried you through. And every memory becomes evidence of his faithfulness. That kind of faith cannot be bought. It can only be built through years of walking with God. Maybe you've faced heartbreak. Maybe you've lost loved ones. Maybe you've experienced disappointments that nobody knows about. Yet, here you are, still standing, still believing, still trusting God. That is a testimony. And there are people around you who need to hear it. Your children need it. Your grandchildren need it. The next generation needs it, because your faith may become the foundation that strengthens someone else. Never underestimate the power of your example. Someone is watching how you trust God. Someone is learning from your faith. Someone is being encouraged because you didn't give up. Growing older also teaches us what truly matters. Many things that once seemed important become less important. Titles, possessions, status, achievements. But faith becomes more precious than ever, because faith reminds us that our hope is not in this world. Our hope is in God, and that's a beautiful gift. Maybe today you're dealing with health challenges. Maybe you feel lonely at times. Maybe life looks different than it did years ago.
But listen carefully. God has not abandoned you. He is still with you. The same God who walked with you in your youth is walking with you today. The same God who answered prayers decades ago still hears your prayers now. The same God who carried you through past struggles will carry you through future ones. You are not walking alone. And perhaps the greatest blessing of growing older with faith is this. You learn to trust God more deeply, not because life became easier, but because you've seen his faithfulness again and again. You know that God keeps his promises. You know that he never leaves his children. You know that even when life is uncertain, God remains faithful, and that kind of peace is priceless. So if you're growing older today, don't focus on what you've lost. Focus on what you've gained. You've gained wisdom. You've gained experience. You've gained memories of God's faithfulness, and you've gained a deeper relationship with the one who loves you. The world may see age, but God sees a life filled with purpose, a life filled with testimony, a life that still matters, and a life that can still make a difference. So hold your head high. Keep praying. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Because God's plan for your life didn't end when you got older. In many ways, the most meaningful chapters may still be ahead. Remember, growing older with faith is not something to fear. It is one of God's greatest blessings. Subscribe for more Christian encouragement, prayers, and messages of hope.